14 states in 14 days. We're doing it by motorcycle. It's called biking the Battleground. So here we are pulling into Pipestone, Minnesota, pulling down the main street, the downtown area, parking for our final destination, the Stonehouse and Quarry Lounge, to go inside and meet with some of Pipestone's finest. But first, what's Pipestone anyway?
They call it like a vein of pipestone that runs through where there was clay that was compacted, and it's really carvable, really soft, and it retains heat well, so it's great for ceremonial pipes.
It's a material. It's an argillite. It's brownish red, a type of mudstone, and it's easily molded, used frequently in the making of, say, pipes. But enough of the history lesson. We're here to talk local issues of concern. Here's Terry Walters, the producer of Pipestone Holdings, but also the vice president of the National Pork Producers Council, with a very interesting and important view of how COVID-19 is impacting the locality and the entire nation's food supply.
Part of the problem we still need is there are producers that had to euthanize and put animals down that they will receive zero value for. We've made that request about 2 months ago to help with that. That did get incorporated into the last CARES bill that was put forward by the House. There is an individual bill in the Senate that Senator Inhofe has sponsored and has many supporters. We do need to see that go through because the limitations on the funding that they were able to give us didn't go very far because of relative size and scale of operations. The other ask I would say that is a growing concern, that COVID is a good example of a public or a human health concern. We have a concern in the livestock industry, both with African swine fever that is all over China and has decimated their country, is now broken in Europe. And we have a great fear that that disease could enter this country. Border and protection offices are funded through travel. International travel is not happening. So border and protection that inspect food and plants and pests and controlling, keep our country safe, are on the verge of losing their funding. There is no appropriated funds for them to continue. If we lose the guard, if you will, at the border, our food supply is in great danger. The public needs to know that, the Congress needs to know that, and we need to continue to protect our food supply in this country.
Now we do. Here's Joanne Arbach, the actual owner and manager of the beautiful Stonehouse Supper Club and Quarry Lounge, explaining the confusion and chaos that came with the crackdowns months ago from COVID-19.
March 17th, we were told we had to close our doors. We forced people to leave this building, and that's probably like the hardest thing to do, is to like push your customers out knowing you don't know when they can come back. And I fear that this is a little taste of what it would be like if we moved to social society, and I couldn't do it.
Socialism in America. These people in Pipestone just want to work for themselves. They want to work and provide for their own families. And really, isn't that what America was built upon in the first place? Providing for oneself, individualism over collectivism.
And then June came and they said, you know what, you can open. It was like pulling teeth to get people to come back. Well, I make more on unemployment at home than there. Well, how's business? Is it busy enough where I'd make more there than here? I'm like, are you kidding? I'm telling you, you have a job. I just told in the future will hopefully change. Like you said, we need to be optimistic. If you are here, you need to believe in the country and what it's been built on, and that's hard work.
That's right. Hard work, rugged individualism, the spirit that drove this nation. Sadly now, fallen to a virus.
But the percentage of people getting sick, luckily, is way less than what we ever thought it was going to be. So
it's Tom Staffs with the local Chamber of Commerce.
There's very few people that are getting really sick, and of course it's serious. I mean, people are getting really sick, but it's nowhere near what they thought it was going to be. And everybody is, I think, just glad that it didn't hit us like they said it was going to. And I know that things can always get worse, but when you watch the percentages of people that are getting sick, it's dramatically lower than we ever thought it'd be. It's hard not to be optimistic when this is going a lot better than we thought.
So why the continued clampdowns, right? That is the big question and the big worry.
Yeah, I think the government officials should try to, quit trying to regulate everybody's behavior and trying to mandate behavior and regulate businesses, and instead try to continue to research the virus and figure out how to treat it. They're getting better at every hospital is sharing information and facilitate that. Like my dad, Eric is a good boss. Back in middle of March, when we knew they were going to shut down the assisted living facilities and the rest homes, my dad is in an assisted living facility, and she said, you know what, this might be the last morning you get to actually see your dad in person. So why don't you come into work a couple hours late and go spend some time with him. And that was the middle of March, and it was last Sunday. It was the first time since the middle of March, so over 6 months that I got to see my dad in person, and it's incredibly hard on me. And
we're in town, so we see him, but a lot of his fellow residents, they feel like their families have abandoned them, and if they have memory issues, it's really hard to keep telling them 20 times, your family loves you, you just can't let them in. So I think
That was Erica Volker with the local Chamber of Commerce, and last word goes to Jeremy Whipple, owner of Pipestone Building Materials.
So do we live in fear of what Mother Nature can do? Because it can be bad, or do we just start living?
Let's choose life. Thank you, Pipestone, Minnesota. It's called Biking the Battleground, and I can't wait to meet you on the road.